And John, you're a very fair man. You're a man who takes out the hype from things. You put the baby pugs in and you take the hype out.
Yep.
Are you a believer?
I think we open now around 16 billion. That's what 27 equates to, assuming they do the 544 million shares. I think that's a very reasonable price. When you compare that to a company like Yelp, it trades about 14 times revenue. There's tremendous growth. I think they're going to do over $1 billion in 2015. They're adjusted EBITDA profitable now. Profitable
Why
in 2015.
do you say there's tremendous growth? What are the numbers?
Going from 600 to plus $1 billion, basically, in revenue between in the next year. So that's pretty substantial. It's a tremendous amount of growth you have there, and it's a transformative company. Brian, you're giving me the look.
You and I had a pretty good discussion in the makeup room. As all men do, we fight in the makeup room.
Absolutely.
If it comes out at that, John, it's going to have a market cap, let's call it 17 billion. That's Macy's. That's the same as Macy's that does billions in sales and has billions in real, tangible earnings.
I mean, as you put it,
I love Twitter. I'm on Twitter constantly.
As you put it, apples to apples, it's a fair price. When you compare it to non-internet stocks, you can say, why am I getting these massive multiples? But we are looking at a massive shift in media right now. I say that there's 5 oceans in the world. You basically have 5 major social media forces: LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, and then you basically have WhatsApp or Snapchat that's maybe filling in there. But this is changing everything, basically, how we get our media.
But is the world really going to Twitter for its news? I mean, there was a Pew study that was saying only 8% of U.S. adults go to Twitter for their news, and they go to Facebook. I think about 30% of them go to Facebook.
Well, you've got 230 million monthly active users on Twitter. That's about a fifth the size of Facebook. And Mandy, they definitely need to mainstream it. You're absolutely right. The interface needs to change dramatically to be simpler and more accessible to people, and that will be where the pudding is proved out in the next 2 quarters, I think.
Tim, I have no doubt this is disruptive. We all use it here, right? And John and I talked about all the cool stuff Twitter's doing in the back end, stuff with television, stuff with mobile advertising. But can you justify a valuation that would be the same as a company that does have billions in EBITDA?
Well, I don't think Macy's has anywhere near the growth figures that Twitter has today and is expected to have in the future. So, you know, obviously the market rewards companies for strong growth, and Twitter doubling every year, going from 300 to 600, 600 to 1.2 plus, and on from there. That's massive growth.
I agree. Listen, Tim, I got no problem buying growth, right? I mean, you're looking at market multiples. I've even said stocks 50, 60 times forward earnings could be good values depending on the growth rate. But let's be fair. Everything we think we know about Twitter is going to be guessing. They've got some growth speculation. I know we've grew the last couple of years. How do you know that growth rate will continue?
I think that's the big challenge, right?
Ahead,
that's the mainstreaming challenge. And Pivotal Research put out a great report, I thought, yesterday, where they talked about what are the key drivers in growth. I think Salesforce productivity, tackling all the agencies, going hand to hand all the brands will be what moves the revenue number. Profitability is something that they're obviously waiting for, because you can always cut off more hair. You can't put hair back on, so to speak. The user growth number, they have to get to 1 billion users in a few years, and that's where I think that's what concerns me going into a $20 billion plus price.
What about growth by acquisition, Tim? I mean, they've already recently just bought MoPub to get into mobile publishing. To what degree post-IPO could we see them start to really go on the acquisition trail?
I think they're going to absolutely leverage their capital to go the acquisition route. I think also, taking the company, with this many users and moving forward to $1 billion, you're going to see, again, the proof is in the pudding.
What would you like them to buy, real quick, John?
Well, no, I would say, why doesn't Facebook buy them? How long is Twitter honestly going to be public? They've got to be bought by someone.
I mean, I think it comes down to a question of share structure and if the change of control would be an issue or not, but I think it's cheap. I mean, why would Apple is the one to me. Why would Apple not buy Twitter? They need a software strategy. They need a social strategy. They integrated with Twitter way before Facebook. That, to me, is the no-brainer.
Buy or be bought. Thank you so much, John. Tim, great to have you with us.
Thank you.
All right, Tim, very smart guy. All right, stick around, because ahead on Street Signs, we're firing up the old Street Signs time machine. We're going to look at some of the other hot IPOs that hit the street, and if you'd put a